Okay, I think it's visible. So, data science and visualization, the first subject, okay, that we are having here. Total four subjects are there. We have data science and visualization at the first. Then second, we have statistics and machine learning. The next semester. Then next, we have data science and machine learning. How they are connected together with different algorithms, and then finally, artificial intelligence and the big data analytics. Okay, that's our so these subjects are actually connected to each other. So if you are known to the first subject, then only it is possible to learn the other subject also. So try to understand the concept which you are having here. They are connected to each other. So knowledge of the previous subject is required into the next subject. That's why it's required to understand the topic clearly. It's very interesting, and we have the career opportunity also in data science, machine learning, artificial intelligence, big data analytics. After learning that, practical focus should be great. That should be important from the industry point of view. Few topics I'll show from industrial implementation point of view. Maybe they are not included in the syllabus, but it's required from the industry point of view. That also I'll show you, and that also will demonstrate with practical implementation. Here it's mentioned that's why exactly we are learning this, like to learn data collection, data pre-processing techniques, or to understand the practical analytical methods for solving the real world problem, data exploration techniques, different type of data visualization. That's also visualization is also very important to know. I think last unit is based on that. That also we'll see practically what kind of graphs, what kind of implementation, what kind of visualization methods are there. That also we will see step by step throughout all. Okay. So by this we are actually implementing and learning a data science. Data science is the base for learning artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, or data analytics, big data analytics kind of concepts. That's why the common ideas, core ideas about data science should be clear with you. Why we do this one, what's the requirement of it, and when this kind of data is present, then what operations are required. That also we need to focus on. Implement analytical methods using Python and R. Python or R is given there. My preference will be given to Python. R is also good, great. We can also use Python and R. If time is there, then I'll show the things using R also. It's not that much having a differences among or between Python and R. They're almost similarly done. So it will be one of the opportunity to see the application-oriented Python and application-oriented R with the help of this particular programming languages. So both can be used as an alternative to each other. Okay, so when we see the practical, so you have to do the things along with me, but before that your theoretical concepts should be clear. Okay, if they are clear, then only we'll proceed further with the practical applications of it. So just check it out. One interesting thing I have seen from the syllabus is that every unit is taken from different book as it is. So I'll when the core when the topic is completed, then I'll share the PDF copy of the respective book from which this concept is taken. Even my presentation also I'll show you. Complete contents are taken as it is. So the books, separate books are there. That's our present. Like we start with the introduction to data science. Then second we have statistics and probability basics, data analysis. Then we have data analysis concept from in depth, like it's mentioned over here. Like we have clustering techniques, association rule, mining, or classification kind of algorithms. That's what are present in third unit. Fourth, we have advanced data analysis. Okay, advanced data analytics, like we have decision tree algorithm, neural network, map reduce algorithm, which is used for the big data analytics. That is the fourth unit. And the fifth and sixth, they are based on the visualization techniques. What are the different ways that we use to visualize the data? That's are present over here. Different kind of graphs are there. Maybe some practicals also present. That also we'll see. And the last that we are having, data visualization of multi-dimensional data. How to create the modeling of data. How to use principal component analysis. How to create the multi-dimensional data models. That we'll see in the unit number 6. Okay, this is what we are having. The flow is great. Flow is correct. Accordingly, we'll be proceeding step by step here. Some of the textbooks are written here. That's copies are also available. I'll share that with you also. The chapter number 1 is taken from one of the book, but that book is not mentioned here in the learning resources. I'll share that with you also. Some of the ebooks that you can find, that's just books, are also good. Even this is very important to know. Video lectures which are mentioned in the syllabus, we just can go through that syllabus also. NPTEL, which is designed by the group of IITs, even AICTE or ARPIT or SWAYAM. So all they have created that particular video lecture. That also you can refer. It's free to get connected. That also we can refer. And I'm having some videos with me. If possible, I'll share that with you also. Okay, this is what the theoretical syllabus overview. If you go to the practical part, so in practical we have only 4 practicals here, laboratory assignments. Check it out. These are the 4 assignments. First part is based on data pre-processing. So not mention that which pre-processing technique you have to apply, but many are there. We can apply that. Even the data set which is mentioned there, available online, as well as we can directly use in the R programming, Python programming language also. Second practical is based on the probability based concept. So probability is basically used by many machine learning and data science algorithms, like Naive-Bayes classifier is there, logistic regression algorithms are there. So how that probability concepts are used, that is demonstrated by second practical. Third is, okay, many tasks are mentioned there, what to do on that particular data set, that also we'll see. And the last is data visualization, the fourth one. So one data set that we'll be using to visualize the data by multiple different angles. So that also will check and will perform. Okay. So that's what the syllabus that we are having. We are going throughout the syllabus step by step. For every unit, on average, I'll be allocating 5 hours. So within 5 hours, one unit will be completed. That is my assumption. And for one practical, 1 hour will be there. Okay, so within 34 hours, we hope that we'll be covering the complete syllabus. So in between also, if you have any doubts or questions, so you just can put in chat box. At the end, if any doubts are present and they are remaining, so we'll just solve that at the end of the session there. Okay, this thing, the syllabus is there with you. So just check it once again. So let's continue with the first part. Okay, unit number 1, which is data analysis. Okay, common basics of data analysis, introduction to data science. What is data science? What things are present in that, and what type of the data are present, that we are going to see. Let me share my screen again. Okay. So let's start with the first unit number 1, data science. Okay, what exactly the data science is and how the data is handled. What are the applications, examples of it that that we are studying in the first part of data science. So 2 parts I have created. In first part, we are defining the data science and big data. What do you mean by data science? What do you mean by big data? And what are the different type of the data are present? So this is what the objective means, is what you are learning from the same. Recognize different type of the data, what kind of data is present, then gaining insights to the data science process. How can I extract the insights from the data science process that we are going to learn in the unit number 1. The 50% part is there. 50% part is based on the data science process. Many processes are there, many are there. Why and what kind of process are involved, that also we will see. And same thing we are going to do practically in practical number 1. Okay, so we'll talk about that also. Okay, so what exactly the data is? So we are having a collection of huge amount of databases. Lot of data is being collected, and there is a war of data is there. So you can see data is very important. Data forms one of the most important entity of internet application today. Anything that you do with the data, with the internet, is actually done through the data. We are communicating here in this lecture. It's also with the help of the data, with the help of a video stream data. Okay, we send information, we collect information everywhere. You upload data, you download data, you send data, you receive data, you share data. Everywhere only data is there. So that's why the data is important. Because of this particular method, everyone's data is now getting public. Previously, we were using our pictures, our photographs with us. Okay, so any friend is coming to our home, then only you are showing it. Now today we are uploading it on Facebook. Now everyone is accessing that. Few years ago, we are writing articles on newspaper. Today we write on internet, and anyone around the globe can access the internet and see what that article is written with and who is the writer of it. Can access, can share, can collect, can communicate, can analyze. So all that things are possible because of the data collected. Now where the data is actually collected? Look at that. We are having web data. We are having e-commerce data. We are having financial transaction data. Okay, web data is just like the data which is present onto the web pages. Let's take an example of Wikipedia. So Wikipedia is one of the best source of the web data. Data is present onto the web pages. Many such pages are there. If you go to Google and search for anything like what is data science, what is data science, we'll get lot many links present in front of you, and their data is present. On Quora also you type what is data science, we'll get lot many answers to that particular question, and description why data is present. That's what we are having, a web data, which is created by the user, or which some of it's also created by the company who has designed that particular website. Web data can be of any category. Like we are having textual data, we have the image data, video data, audio data, PDF data, doc data, XML kind of data. But data. So along with that, we have e-commerce data, commercial applications data. We have financial transactions, bank credit card transaction, any financial transaction that you do with the help of UPI applications, internet banking applications, mobile banking applications. Okay, that is recorded. And today we can see that everything is now getting online. Everywhere we are making a payment online. Everyone is familiar with online payment. So lot many transactions are happening. Lot many applications also available, and every transaction is recorded in the digital format. All credit card transactions also. Then online trading, purchasing is also present. We are having lot many websites like Amazon or Flipkart or eBay, where we can sell or we can purchase something. Again, almost every kind of material, every kind of service is present online. We are making use of lot many online applications where we are having your account, and from there we access the data, we use that data, we perform many operations with the data. Why its data is collected, why the data is not discarded, or largest sources of the data around the world are last two. Social network, where we upload the data, where we upload data on Facebook, we upload data on Instagram, we upload data on Twitter, we upload data on LinkedIn, and you send messages using WhatsApp. That's also one of the data which is coming under social network. Okay, so social network and cloud are the biggest sources of data present on the internet. Okay, social network, and remember, social network is having very great impact. If you're thinking from analytical or machine learning point of view, this data is very important to analyze and use it. You can think of a project in later semester also to create under that particular topic of social media data that we can use very effectively. And the last one is cloud. The cloud is like many kind of clouds are there. If you define a cloud means through internet, anything as a service. That's what a cloud is. Common idea, anything as a service. Infrastructure as a service, data as a service, platform as a service, software as a service. Today many are services. Security as a service also there. IoT as a service is also present there. So lot many things, lot many services are present, and that we can access with the help of internet. That's what we call as cloud. And out of all the cloud, very commonly used cloud is called data as a service. Data service providers, storage providers are there. They are present online. They are providing us to access that data or store data online, like Google Drive. Data as a service, huge amount of data is present over there. Dropbox, Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure. Okay, the services are providing data as a service. Along with that, they are providing SAS, IAS, PAS also. And because of that, again, through online method, data is getting collected, centrally stored. Remember, nearly 18 to 20 years ago, 2001, 2002, the data collected online was like 98% data was created by the web developers in 2001, 2002, that period, and 2% was created by the user who are using that. Today, almost inverse scenario is there. Today, the ratio is like 82% data over the world is created by users. Okay, so you upload something, you upload it, you send that, you use the internet. That's why the data is collected. Companies are not collecting the data. Companies are having 18% data only. Now 82% data is created by user. So transition is from 2% to 82% in last 20 years. Maybe after a few years, it will become 1910, then 95%. We are user. User are actually collecting the data. They are providing this data, and that's why the name I have given here. War. The war is created. And this data war is having many abilities. In 2016 elections, 2016 US elections. It was the data which was used by the Republican Party in US, and I used to use that data to change the complete election scenario. Okay, like that. That was one of the great example actually. How the data is important. Even data of Facebook is also stolen and used for some different purposes. Like, so data is very important. So war, maybe after again 10, 15 years, we are going to sell. Today also we are going to sell and purchase the data. Maybe after that it will be having more important than the currencies also. Remember. Okay, that's why to understand and see the insights of data is very important. And that's what we are learning in this particular field of data science. Okay, so the first terminology, this is what I told about the data only. Let's come with the second part of the data, another angle of the data. That's what we call as a big data. Okay, data and big data. So two names are mentioned here. Let's talk about big data and then we'll come with the terminology of data science. 90% of world's data was generated in last few years. What I just told about it. 90%, just few years. Due to the advent of technology, new technologies and devices, the communication means like social networking sites, the amount of data produced by mankind is growing rapidly every year. Rapidly, very rapidly, because now we are started from first generation system, first generation communication system, second generation, third generation. Now we are in fourth generation. We Indians, many companies, many nations, countries are now moved toward the fifth generation of data communication, and then GBPS speed of the data is available and huge amount of data is getting transferred because of technologies are changing, your hardware changing, softwares are changing, capability of communication medias are also changing. Now see, one statistics is given over here, the amount of data produced by us from beginning of time billion years ago but we'll talk about only last 100 years, when actually digital electronics computing has started from last not 100 also few number of years, few 78 years till 2003. Okay, was 5 billion gigabytes, 5 billion GBs was present. If you pile up the data in the form of the disk, it may fill up the entire football field. Disk means your hard drives. Okay, entire football field, it will fill all that hard drives there. Yeah, this is what the data created. Now let's talk about second angle of it. The same amount of data was created in every 2 days in 2010, 11, sorry. Every 2 days, same amount of data from start of the year, start of the beginning, from beginning 2003. Same data in 2 days in 2011. Every 6 minutes in 2016. Every 6 minutes 2016. And in 2020 it is every 28 seconds. Think about this. Every 28 seconds in 2020 the data is created, that same amount of data, and still the rate is growing enormously. Most of the data is duplicated fashion, but don't worry about it, it's a data, it's present. I'm having my copy, you are having your copy, duplicated but it's present. So this is what exactly the data flows are there in the field of computing, and that's why a new name that we got out of the computer engineering, that's called as information technology. To manage that information, use that information, perform many operations on that information, that will be done by the name IT, information technology. Now, okay, so that's what a new name is derived from this. This is called as the big data. No standard definition is there, but let's talk about the definition which I got in Encyclopedia Britannica Encyclopedia. What is big data? So data whose scale, diversity and complexity require new architecture, technique, algorithm and analytics to manage it and extract value and hidden knowledge from it. That is what called as a big data. We have scaled up, big scale is required rather than traditional technologies. Diversity, okay, diversity is great. Diverse amount of sources and type of data is present there. Complexity is also present, and To find a solution onto it, we require a new architecture, we require new techniques, new algorithms, new analytical methods to extract the value and the hidden knowledge from it. That is called as a big data. Data which is in huge amount, generally we call, that's what we are having. But if you technically describe the whole idea about the data, so that's standard definition that we can see for the big data is present. Let's talk about general language. Big data is a collection of large data set that cannot be processed using traditional computing technique. Yes, straightforward. Traditional computing technique. You might have heard about the SQL technologies. SQL is traditional computing method. It's a traditional computing method. Remember, the traditional computing method are having the queries. You have to fire the queries. Once the query is fired, then we can extract the data from that particular data set. So this is what we call traditional computing systems. Okay, maybe if the data size is growing. Okay, for example, for 1 MB table, if I'm firing a SQL query, we'll get 1 millisecond to extract. 2 MB, 2 millisecond. 4 MB, 4 millisecond. 100 MB, 100 millisecond. 1000 MB, 1000 milliseconds. 1 second that will be. So grow, your data size will grow, but speed of system will slow down in that case. Speed of your system will slow down if you start growing, and at some point your software or computer system will hang, will stop responding. That time we require technology, it's called as, it will work on big data. Data which is not possible to get processed with the help of traditional computing techniques is big data. So it's not a single technique or tool, rather it involves many areas of business and technologies. Data science is also like that. It's a common name, but many small areas, small parts are present within it. Same cases for big data also. We are having diverse different operations present inside the big data that we call as a big data ecosystem. So Hadoop is a tool that, if you heard about, that's used for analytics of big data, but Hadoop is a framework. Many more tools are there which we require to handle the process. Like I want to handle the non-structured, no SQL kind of data. I want to handle SQL data separately. Separate tool is there. I want to handle real-time data. I want to apply the machine learning algorithms on that data. So we require another different set of the data present there. That's what we call as a big data. Basically, big data is described by 3 V's. 3 V's. Big data is any data that is expensive to manage and hard to extract the value from. Another definition, the main definition that we can say. First V is volume. Second, velocity. Third, variety and complexity. Variety. So volume means the size of the data. Velocity, the latency of data processing relative to the growing demand for interactivity. And third, that is variety. So diverse sources, format, and quality structures are present in this. This is called as the velocity. Variety, sorry. 3 V's are there which are described, and one more is present. Let's talk about one by one. So check out this pie diagram. It's like a pie chart. If you consider about the velocity, the things are present like real time, non-real time, batch size. If you consider about the variety, so we have audio data, video data, image data, SMS data, CMS data, PDF data, doc kind of data, structured data, non-structured data. And if you talk about the volume, we start with bit, byte, kilobyte, megabyte, gigabyte, terabyte, petabyte, zettabyte, not many other. I'll show the list of 30 units are there, which are used to measure the data stored in the digitized format in the computer systems. Okay, this is what we call as a big data. Let's talk about one by one. See, this is what the first property of the big data. So see this one, 44% times increase from 2009 to 2020. That's what we are having. We are having 0.8 zettabyte of data in 2009 to 35 zettabyte. Zettabyte is the unit of the data. That's we are not knowing. You can check, compare that one here. This amount of data to this number or this amount of data. 2020 we have 35.2 zettabyte of data present. which was 0.8 zettabyte in 2009. So it's exponential growth. Check it out. This also. Here, 1 million of petabyte data is created every year. More than that. 1 petabyte is 1024 zettabyte. So check it out. So your units are also changing here. Data volume is increasing exponentially, not linearly, it is exponentially. See, this is exponential growth that we call. Okay, exponential increase that we can see. This is what the Twitter's data is, one of the examples shown from the Twitter's point of view. Tweets per day. Twitter, tweets per day are given with, see, how many number of tweets are there per day. Increasing. So if the tweets are increasing, data is also increasing in exponential fashion, not linear. Exponential growth is something like that, which is very essential to identify rather than the growth which is linear. Volume, huge amount. Basically, the terminology big is taken from the volume point of view commonly, but other V's are also very important. Second, see, these are the units. Check the units: bit, byte, kilobyte, gigabyte, terabyte, petabyte, exabyte, zettabyte, yottabyte, runtobyte, job-byte, second byte, petabyte, alpha byte. Go on, 30 units are there. Till copper byte. So maybe in a very recent years, very less number of years actually, we can reach towards few 5 more units there. Now, second characteristic is variety. Various format, type and structures. Check everything that you can see in the diagrammatic format here. How can I store that? How can I store the DNA structure in computer memory? How can I store the, you might be knowing in last year, one year ago, I think the NASA has taken the photo of black hole. They have stored that data. They are using data analytics packages also. The photo is available online on their site. Check it out. That's how the data is stored. Variety, that it's different. How we haven't seen the black hole. Not possible to see. It's not having any light from it. So how can we see it? Now the structure. So save that. Show that. How it's possible. Or this is very important that we are having Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Flickr, LinkedIn, like all kind of data. Or we are having the data like see, temperature related data, or we are having time series data. So text format, numerical format, image format, audio, video, sequence, time series, social media, multi-dimensional arrays, many different kind of the data sets are present here. So we can have a data which is if any variety. Okay, even for flow point also we are having static data and streaming data. Static, fixed, streaming, live, this streaming that we have. So single application can be generating, collecting many type of the data. So it's very important to know that starting and streaming. I'll talk about in velocity also. Single application can be generating, collecting many type of the data. So to extract knowledge from all of these types of data, we need to link them together. See, part of text analytics, we don't have that in syllabus. Maybe in machine learning it's present there. We can handle the structured data, we can handle unstructured data. Natural language data, we are having that type also. What is natural language? To handle that and this, structured, unstructured, they are same. But you have to convert structured data into, non-structured data into a structured data. Perform the operation, data pre-processing is required over there. Means the data handling can be done similarly, but you have to transform the data from one kind to another kind, variety of it. If you analyze the audio, I can analyze, but not special library required. You have to convert audio into text format and then analyze it. That's it. That's possible there. Variety. Third, velocity. Data is generated fast, need to be processed fast. Yes. Generated fast, processed fast. Do you know that in Google Meet we are using here, it contains the captions option. If you make captions on, you can see the subtitles, what I am talking. The subtitles will be seen at the below photo, which you can try that. Make the captions on, you can check the subtitles. This is what we call as the live data streaming. And on streaming, on that velocity data, I'm just performing the immediate operations of converting that in the form of subtitles. Okay, so data generated fast, need to be processed fast. Immediate actions are there. It's not like I am using it today and tomorrow I'll analyze it. No. See, just take an example of CCTV cameras. If you know the CCTV camera is a passive device. Okay, some accident has happened, accident or someone has stolen the things. So tomorrow we will see who is the thief, who has stolen that tomorrow. But can CCTV take the immediate action? See, someone is stealing that thing. Immediately I have to buzz an alarm. On time you have to buzz the alarm. You have to identify that the person is unauthenticated and need to be caught. Immediate alarm, live on immediate action are generated. So such kind of data analytics, such kind of data is having a property called as velocity. So it's late decisions, missing opportunity. This is what I require. The example which I just explained, immediate action. If action not taken, that will be stolen. Now we cannot. There is a chances of making it back will be less. Examples: e-promotions. Based on your current location, your purchase history, what you like to say in promotions right now to store next to you. Google Maps. Best example of it. Healthcare monitoring. Sensors monitoring your activities, body, abnormal measurement and require immediate reactions. Okay. If sensor is identifying that there is a possibility to have a heart attack, so immediate action is required. So data which is like velocity, immediate action required, that is called as velocity. Live stream. Okay, immediate. That's what coming under the third property of big data, that is velocity. Okay, remember. Check it out. This is what the revolution was done. 3 V's: big data, volume, velocity, variety. So which will have complexity, which will have speed, which will have volume. 3 different properties are present. So volume is one property which V is showing, complexity is another property which variety is showing, and speed is another property which is velocity is showing. Okay, we'll start from ERP to CRM to web to big data. So we'll start from megabyte to gigabyte to terabyte to petabytes. And now today we have zettabytes, we have exabytes. Many will go. Okay, so big data, it's a combination of transactions, interactions, and observations, anything that is done with the help of the internet. So as we increase, if we start from ERP, common ERP to CRM level to web level to big data level, your size increases, variety and complexity also increases. Think about it. This is what we are going to have the big data terminologies present here. Along with that, fourth V is also present. Fourth V is actually the application of machine learning. See, data in rest, that's volume, data in motion, velocity, data in many forms, variety, and data in doubt, veracity. Uncertainty due to data inconsistency and incompleteness, ambiguities, latency, deception, model approximations. We require a standard data analytics algorithm to work on this veracity part. Very essential to identify that. It's recently added, but surprisingly all are V's. That's what big data is actually getting described over there. Okay, remember that. What comes under the data? So what are the examples that we can say about big data? So example first is given is a black box. The component of helicopter, airplane, and the jets. Might be like a black box is there, which is capturing the voices of flight crew, recording of microphone, earphones, performance of the aircraft. Everything is continuously recorded by black box. When accident happens, okay, very rarely it happens, you can use that black. First, they are searching for the black box for the reason why this accident was there. For the flying vehicle, for helicopter, airplane, or any kind of jet, just single flight records minimum 2 terabyte of the data. Minimum, it depends the length of the flight actually. Minimum 2 terabyte of the single flight. So how much amount of the data capacity is required in that case? Check. Remember that. This is what the big data. Okay. Second is social media data. Very common. Social media data. You upload data on Facebook, Twitter, and your views, millions of people across the globe. Now today they are adding many more things. Reactions are added. Video we can add. Video we can share. Video can upload. We can have images. We can have Lot me like GIF are also now available there. Social media data, huge. On Facebook itself, daily 125 plus 125 plus terabyte of the data is getting uploaded on Facebook daily. Facebook is one of the popular website according to the number of users. Facebook is number one country in the world, but according to the authenticated users, it is number three country in the world after China and India. So think about it, that number of users are there. So how big is that, and how big data that's the Facebook is having. Even Facebook is also created, or they have contributed to the development of big data tools like Hive. I use Hive is one of the tool which is used for data warehousing created by Facebook. Many tools are present to handle the big data. Next is stock exchange data, which is changing second by second. Stock exchange data hold information about the buy and sell decisions made on the share of different companies made by the customer continuously. Not many companies are there in share market, so their changes, fluctuation in the share, buy and purchase. So that's many. If you've seen the data of stock market, can think lot many different columns are there that changing second by second, second by second. So that data is also coming under big data. We have power grid data. Power grid data holds information consumed by a particular node with respect to the base station. So huge electrical network we have. From where to where, how much amount of electrical energy is transferred, there onward, that's recorded in the power grid. Again, second by second. Data which is collected by IoT sensors. If you know the IoT, Internet of Things, sensors are present and they're continuously capturing the data, continuously, or every millisecond. Okay, small changes also recorded in this. So if you consider, if every millisecond, microsecond data is getting recorded, how much big data is created in a single day. Though it is textual data, it is a big data. Transport data include the model capacity, distance, availability of the vehicle. The vehicle is moving, so all of its health settings will be recorded. Transport data, search engine data, very important. Google, the king of internet, is holding this particular data. All what you search, what you like to search, what suggestion you have to be according to your location, interest. Okay, that's what the big data collector. You search, okay, it's okay, fine. But the thing that you search on Google is recorded. It is publicly available. Anyone can use it. See, you can just check it out. When you type something in Google, that name will go into the search bar, into the URL bar, and there we can find that name. From that, it can be extracted. You might be knowing there are two kind of requests available in the net or public, sorry, client and server, called as post request and get request. So Google uses the get request commonly, which don't require any security. So that data is available that we can extract, and accordingly you will identify that what was searched by these people. He's interested in this. So he is interested, so suggest him this recommendation system, which is data science are using. Give some advertisement according to his search, suggest something according to its area of interest. So that's what is done with the help of the search engine data. Along with that, we have structured data, semi-structured data, unstructured data, lot many. Structured relational data, which is present in the tabular format. Semi-structured data like XML data we have. Then the unstructured data like Word, PDF, text, media logs, unstructured data. So that's all will come under the name called as big data, the huge amount of data. What are the benefits of the big data? Using information kept in the social network Facebook. Example, benefits. I'm just not talking about common benefit. By keeping example, I'm keeping a benefit here. The marketing agencies are learning about the response of their campaigns, promotions, and advertising medium. You can find it. Where you have clicked, you are interested in that. What page you like to watch, or what group you regularly join, kind of group. So you know you are interested in that. Advertisement will be shown to you according. So there's the highest chances that you will purchase it. That is one of the benefit. Advertisement that we can use for data. Today, maximum data is used for advertisements. How you learn, how you earn. Ads are very important. All the TV channels are earning by ads. Okay, Google is earning by ads. That's why using the information in social media like preferences and product perception of their consumers, Product companies and retail organizations are planning their productions. So you plan it. What are the necessities, requirements of the user? Accordingly, the planning of production, planning of the design is possible. Benefit of it. Using data regarding previous medical history of patient, hospital are providing better quick response service. Many hospitals in United Kingdom are connected by this particular method. Like they can easily see the health related information of person, and accordingly previous history, the history can be seen. Accordingly suggestions will be provided, can be provided. That is what the advantage of big data are. Okay, so common are just are given. Many benefits are there from the big data that we can have. So two kind of big data technology are commonly used. One is operational big data, second is analytical big data. Operational big data, like they include the data which is generally have stored already, like MongoDB. We provide a capability for real-time interactive workload where the data is primarily captured and stored. And after that, we can use it for performing any kind of operations on it. Like NoSQL big data systems are designed to take advantage of new cloud computing architecture that have emerged over past decade to allow massive computations to be run inexpensively and effectively. Data which is used for general purpose operations, just we don't modifying it. Analytical data used for analytics, which contain the novel insights inside it. That is called as analytical big data. Novel insights. Novel insights means something, some data structure. Structure is present inside the data. That is called as the novel insights. So that novel insights are present inside the data. That's what we call as analytical big data. Okay. So MapReduce is one of the framework. We are having that. I think we have seen that in syllabus in advanced data analytics present that. That's a framework which are used for analyzing the data. That is complementary to the capabilities provided by SQL, and the system based on MapReduce can be scaled up from single server to thousands of different machines if you want to analyze it. So big data analytics work in this way. MPP, massively parallel processing. Distributed fashion, the data is handled. Some part in one computer, another part, another computer, another part, another computer. Then same algorithm will apply parallelly on all the systems. They will generate the result, and result generated will be combined together at a central point. That's what we call as the big data analytics. MPP, or massively parallel processing, is actually performing these particular operations of analytical big data. Yeah, who generates that? This is very important to know who generates that. So social media, the first important part which is present here in the big data analytics, social media networks, all of us are generating that data. The names are mentioned there. See, highest amount of data is present on the YouTube, because it's a website where videos can be seen, videos can be watched. So largest amount of information is present over the YouTube server, and along with that we have data on the Facebook, then we have Twitter, then we have Instagram, and many more. Second, scientific instruments collecting the continuous data. You can check it out. For example, a satellite which is revolving around the earth, capturing everything, collecting it, or the telescopes which are sent by ISRO or NASA, they're capturing things and they are sending information to you. So huge amount data is collected. Or sensor technology and network. So the thing is to know IoT, as I just told about IoT, continuously data capturing and recording is done. Continuous. If continuous recording and data capturing is done, so obviously there's a big problem to store the data. So big data will be created. Sensors. So we require a cloud to store it. Locally also you can store, but local capacity is not that much up to the mark. So on cloud we are going to store that data. Measuring all kind of data is possible. Mobile devices, everyone is having that one. You can check. You take photo of everything. We take photo of everything. We upload it. We save it. We are downloading the videos from WhatsApp. You save it. Photos from WhatsApp. You save it. It is getting saved on daily. Maybe 2 GB memory data is also not sufficient to us. That's what the problem is. Mobile devices to track all the object all the time. That's we can generate the data. Okay. Yeah. So what are the big data generation models are there? So how exactly the data is created? So this is told you already. The model of generating and consuming data has changed. The old model was few companies are generating data and all others are consuming. Yeah. Remember that this is the base for data analysis today. That time companies were generating, so companies were deciding what data should be present on the net or on the world, on the digitized format. Today, new model, check it out. All of us are generating data and all of us are consuming that data. So user is generator, user is the consumer there. And in between that, companies are using that data for data analytics or performing any sort of operations onto it. Data analytics, you capture it and make use of, yeah, you are interested in that. Take it from consumer and sell it to the consumer. Data to data, their interface between them. That's what the new model today we have. This is the reason why data science and study is very necessary and very important. Yeah. So the last point is the big data, and then we'll go to continue with the data science again. So it's relations are there. That's why big data is very important to know. The major challenges in associated with the big data are as follows. Challenges. So obviously, if you are not working with big data, you may be not knowing these challenges. The things that you basically perform with the big data. So how to capture the data? How do I capture it? I want to capture it. How do I? Okay, I want to capture the information about solar system. How can I capture that? Model is okay, but how to capture that data? I want to predict now next time when the solar eclipse will happen. I require previous data for that. So how to capture it? A challenge is there. Curation, taking care of. How to take care of the data? How can I make it secure? Then storage, where to store that data? If I want to analyze the data of 10 TB and my highest capacity of hard drive is 2 TB, so where to store it? Whether I have to use any mechanism, distributed system mechanism to store it, that's we need to consider. Store. Then searching. How to search inside a data? Very important. See, you can example of YouTube. I used to say always, every time, that if I have downloaded a video from YouTube, we have saved that somewhere into the hard drive, which is of 1 TB capacity something. You save it, and after a few months, if you forgot about the location of that and you have to search that video, so what we'll do, we'll go to the search bar of operating system. So search that video with the name. Okay, so you click on that. You type searching. So as you start typing, it will start searching that particular video. It may take almost 20 to 30 seconds to finish that search, and we'll show you the result. Okay. Same video I want to search in the YouTube's website. So I'll go to YouTube's search bar. I'll type that name there. What's the difference? So in YouTube, you can find that result within few milliseconds. Let's say 1 second, but on your local system, you got the result within 20 to 30 seconds. That's what the speed difference is there. Check out the speed difference. 1 second to 20 seconds. So though we have 1 terabyte hard drive and YouTube is having some exabyte of the drive, it is faster, efficient. How it is efficient? Not challenge actually. They have found a solution onto it. Google is having a solution onto it. That is searching. So effective searching is very important. Because of that, only reliability of company increases and more customers will get attracted to you. See, we are having search engine of Bing, we are having Yahoo also, but why Google is more used? What's the reason? Because Google has achieved reliability. Remember. Then transfer. How do I transfer the data? Sorry, share. How do I share the data? How do I transfer the data? What communication lines are there? What method, mechanism we have to use? How much time will be required? Then analysis of that. This is very important. Out of all this stuff, 70% part of data, big data is working on analysis. Big data analysis. Many algorithms are there that we can use to analyze your data by different ways. So big data analysis is also one of the main challenge present in the field of big data. So many algorithms are there which are used to do analysis. Out of that, one can be chosen. Okay. And the last is presentation. How do we present that data in front of the user, in front of the person who requires that? How do we represent it? Representation is very important. Presentation, representations. Capturing and representation are inverse of each other. You capture, you save it. But capital information, if you want to represent again, then how do you represent it? Because data is of diverse source. Data is available in diverse different kind of types, and out of for every type, different ways are chosen to present it or to capture it. How it's possible? So world of data science actually very big. Lot many angles are there. You just think about a particular project, particular program, particular task to do. You have to work on the data type first, and we have to find a solution on these challenges first. Capturing, curating, storing, searching, sharing, transferring, analyzing, and presentation of that particular data. So any kind of challenge will be there in the big data. So basically, lot many research is going on in the field of big data analytics, which are focusing on finding the solutions to these particular challenges which are shown over here. Okay, so this is what we call as a big data. Common idea of the big data is there. Many solutions are there. We are having solution, but in upcoming session we have a solution for the big data, how analytics of big data is done, and what are the algorithms present under the big data. That's also presented there. Okay, so let's come with the common data again, and let's do what exactly data will do. So what are the type of data present? Relational, text data, semi-structured, graph data, social media, streaming. We'll go for that step by step. But before that, what exactly we do with this data, that's what I've summarized over here in this slide. Many of these operations are there in our syllabus also. We'll talk about that step by step. The first that we do with this data is aggregation and statistics. We aggregate data, we perform statistical operation on that data, like the last mentioned statistical modeling. Aggregation, like data warehousing, collect all the data at central location, central point, and then we are providing that data from that particular point. Like Facebook using one data warehouse called as Hive, I just told about. Hive is a data warehouse which is created by the Facebook and now available in the big data analytics for storing the data in the warehouse fashion, central location there. OLAP, online analytical processing of the data that we can do. Then we can apply indexing, we can use searching, we can perform querying, we can have this all kind of searching like keyword based search, pattern matching based search that we do, and then accordingly the data will be shown to you. Many person, minimum 60 to 70 people who use the internet, they perform first operation is to search. A new movie is released. I want to check the reviews of it. I'll go to Google and search the movie name, then check the reviews. Okay. Or I want to download any particular video or the movie from the net. Okay, I'll go to search engine, type there, searching. So maximum 60 to 70% operation actually started from searching of the data, redirecting after the data is getting searched. If it is searched, then we'll redirect that and then it will accept the information. So many different searching are present. Keyword based search, pattern matching is possible, like using star, wildcard character, question mark, wildcard character. So it's matching there. Show the result. This is what we are having the second method. The third is knowledge discovery. Very important to note. See, knowledge discovery, data mining that we call data mining. Data mining is converting. See, actually, it's a very great pyramid. We'll explain that in upcoming sessions. We have a data. From that data, we extract information. That's called data mining. From information, we can extract knowledge. Okay, information to knowledge. From knowledge, we will have wisdom. Remember, wisdom, and using wisdom, we become intelligent. Who is responsible for that? Data. Process should be followed perfectly. Don't keep data with you. Apply the method of knowledge discovery, data mining, statistical modeling, machine learning, mathematical modeling, deep learning, artificial intelligence. All that will convert the data in information, in knowledge, in wisdom, and in intelligence. That's why data is important. So these operations are present here. Knowledge discovery, generally we name it as KDD, knowledge discovery in databases. That's what KDD is, and accordingly we are having the methods of statistical modeling we can create and perform. That's why also we'll see, and we are having some statistical modeling method in unit number 4 and 5, 3 and 4. So that's we'll talk about it, how these models are created, how they are used to extract the information, how they are used to perform the predictions also. Yeah, what is data science then? The thing that we have learned, data we talked about, big data we talked about. Now, what is data? Data science is the area, field of study which perform management, manipulation, extraction, and interpretation of knowledge from tremendous amount of data. That is called as data science. So it's a science, that's why it's a systematic study science. Data science is a field of this multidisciplinary field of study with the goal to address the challenges in the big data. Okay, with the goal to address challenges in the big data. But though it's given big data, data science principles are applicable to all big data and the small data. Actually, there is nothing like small data. General data is the data, small data we generally name is given, and big data is huge amount of data with 3 V's connected to it. So all the principles that we have in data science are applicable to small amount of data and huge amount of data also. But to handle the big data, we are having some distributed system mechanism like Hadoop. With the help of that, the data analytical algorithm will be executed onto it. Okay, that we will see. But big data is handled differently, small data differently. But the principles of data science are common. If I am creating a model, statistical model of the data on big data, same model is possible small data also. Doesn't matter what size is that. But the operation to handle, to speed up the system for big data are different methodologies. That's called a distributed computing, distributed system, which is used here to analyze the big data or to big data. Correct. Now, what data science is internally containing? So to ensure you with the data science, or you have to create a mindset. This is required. And what is data science? What technologies, fields are present under data science? So many theories, many techniques from many fields and disciplines are used to investigate and analyze large amount of data to help decision makers in many industries such as science, engineering, economics, politics, finance, education. P fields are given only. Every field can be done. I want to predict the value of stock market, open value of company tomorrow. Financial field. We can do that. Or I want to check when the asteroid, which is far away from light years ago, present, coming towards the earth, when it will strike to earth. So I want to find it. So data science will be done. And in economics also, many different predictive analytics is possible by the economics. Politics very important. There is a case study we will see in the machine learning basically. I want to predict the elections result in politics. So we can see data science. Education, very important to know what effective methodology I need to use, what features I need to focus on, so that education system will become more strongest possible. So data is present, education data is also available, we can make use of it. So every area, not only the list which I have given, in every area I can apply the data science principles effectively. 3 fields are there which are there in the data science. The first is computer science. We and you are the part of computer science. We are knowing the logic behind computers. We are knowing the principles of computing. Like we require to understand pattern recognition techniques. We require to understand visualization techniques. We require to understand data warehousing techniques, high performance computing, database management, and artificial intelligence. This kind of knowledge we require to learn data science. So complete data science, if you see your structure of syllabus, it's like that. You are having database already, we have pattern recognition like machine learning, AI separately, big data analytics separately. So all that thing combined together in a data science name. Machine learning is in AI. Databases are there. High performance computing is required only for big data analytics. Okay, so data science requires the computer science fields, subfields, which I have listed over here. PR, visualization, data warehousing, HPC, databases, and AI. Second area, which is mathematics. So we have to create the mathematical modeling, maths, not general purpose math, engineering maths. That's what we require in the data science for mathematical modeling, to build the models. Okay, to build the model. Why mathematics? Why, what is standard deviation? I need to know. Can, but that model where we are using this particular model, or what is Euclidean distance formula? Euclidean distance formula. Where to apply that? Where it is used? So that's knowledge we require. Then statistics also, like probability. What is the probability that this operation will be done, or this data will be extracted, or this class will be identified? Probability of this, statistics, that's we require. So data modeling can be created with the help of mathematical system or with the help of statistical operations also. That's what the data science is. Computer science, statistics, and mathematics, three different fields are there which we generally require to understand the concepts in data science. Remember that. So multiple disciplines are under data science which are present, common disciplines which are having here. We require statistics. So check this out: statistics, pattern recognition, AI. Under AI, we have machine learning. Then we have natural language processing here, this one, NLP, neurocomputing, that's what we call. Then we are having data mining. Then KDD, knowledge discovery databases, this one. Then we have databases and data processing, data engineering, visualization techniques. Like, so these are the different areas, multiple disciplines that the data science is having today. Okay, and to be in data science, we need to study this particular part separately. Text analytics that we can do by natural language processing. Statistics we require for almost all kind of machine learning algorithm, pattern recognition also. Clustering kind of algorithm we require. Visualization will help you to summarize your data in pictorial format. Databases we require because many projects are having backend as a database. So we require to handle that data also. It's collected automatically. Maybe it's not possible to save that always in Excel format. We can have a data in the database format also. SQL, no SQL, both. That's what we are going to use. And data mining, knowledge discovery in databases, all connected with the data only. Everything is revolving around the concept of only data. That's why there are the disciplines of data science. Always, all science, as I told, they are multidisciplinary. Data science is also multidisciplinary. Let's take some real life examples, what and where the data science principles can be applied. Some top 10 examples are taken only. It's not limited to that, but you just think of it, wherever the data is present, there we can apply data science. Application may be different, algorithm may be different, but data science principles are applied. So let's talk about it. Internet search, targeted advertisements or recommendation systems, image recognition, speech recognition, gaming, price comparison webs, then airline route planning, fraud, risk detection, delivery logistics. So these are the methods where we can apply data science. Where see, in Google I have typed this: how do I know if I am intelligent? Just a curious mind has given this. So you can check the things which are given in round. About how many are there? 12 lakh 80 crore, sorry, 12 crore 80 lakh something results are there in 0.46 seconds. Is it actually working in that way? Your search engine is actually working in that way, means they are searching on real time or not? Is it there? So point of discussion actually in internet search. Second, targeting advertisements. You can check so that you can find very different advertisements placed at different places on the web. Check it out. And most of these advertisements are very familiar with us. Familiar means we are maybe interested in that. If you search something, books in Google, books, some name of books, any books, so you Google will know you that that you are very means you require the books, or you are reader, passionate book reader. They will show you the suggestions with the book advertisements only. Okay, like, or if you are just searching for some clothing on Amazon or Flipkart or any other way on Google directly, So Google knows that you are a very fashionable person, so they will show suggestions accordingly. That okay, this is what we call as Google AdSense, and this algorithm is having the logic of data science algorithm present in it. Recommendation systems. So you can see on different website we can see the recommendation system, like on Netflix or Amazon Prime. So you can just check, once you watch one video, they will show you similar videos to you. Okay, just like shown over here on YouTube also, if you're watching a specific video, so on the right hand side bar up next, or suggested videos will be shown, that will have similar genre or similar actor, similar language, similar actress, similar song. Like suggestions will be given, recommendations, so that you will spend more time on their website and they will earn more. Like Twitter also, you can see people who may follow, so you can, suggestions are given as per your current followers or following. Okay, like all, this is what we call recommendations. The data science is working behind it. Next, image recognitions techniques. See this. Once you upload a photo on the Facebook, so you can check it that this photo can be automatically tagged. The person is present there. YouTube, your Facebook identified that and shows that, do you want to tag this person here? If you say yes, so automatic tagging will be done, and face recognition inside that photo is possible by this particular method. Data science is running behind it. Speech recognition or machine translation or language translation or conversion of speech to text or text to speech. This is what the application of text analytics actually, or the natural language processing field. So this is done with the help of the data science applications. Many algorithms are running behind it to perform this operation of finding in which language I'm talking about. So you can just check this. Okay, you can identify that language, convert it textual format. Even you can translate also from one kind of language into another kind of language. That's what is speech recognition that we can do. Not only English, but almost all the languages are possible. You see, Google is working very effectively on the speech recognition technologies. So any kind of language around the world can be used there. So it's world is not a language, not connected to English only. Many languages are, not many languages are present. English is number 4 language in the world. Many more are there which are spoken by millions of people. So can use that in speech recognition. Computer gaming also having a data science today. They are connected with machine learning and artificial intelligence algorithm that makes some interactivity, some thrill in the game. Then I think you have seen this person. This person belongs to the website Trivago. Okay, so Trivago is a price comparison website only. Like you can check it out, hotels in New York. 25 hotels in website A and 56 hotels on website B are shown. So they are just collecting the information from the respective websites, and as per your preferences, they will show you the comparison. And then you have to choose where you have to go, which website you have to follow, or which hotel you have to book. Okay, like that. So they are extracting the data from the web, from respective website, and then showing to you. This is the application of data science. Complex algorithm actually, too much. This is what we have: airline route planning, even planning of railway track also is very complex algorithm, which is created and which is available with the data science technologies. Complex algorithm, where we have to go and where we have to plan, like fraud detections. So what exactly the fraud is present in the data? Means you have done the operation correctly as per the specification or not. That's what the fraud detection will tell you. Detect the fraud, it's present. If it is present, then suggest, show, and if it is not there, discard it. Like fraud detections. And the last is delivery logistics. Check it out, the complete process from where you see this one. We started. You have given an order, packing, done, shipping. Yeah, here, from here, number 6, travel, go to the uh, place from courier company. Okay, you identify your door place, travel, reached. This complete process actually involves many small operations. So like we may have seen the predictive analytics in that. Once you place the order, they will show you within this number of hours, after this number of hours, the order will reach at your end. How it's possible? Yes, exactly, it's possible. It's possible. They are predicting, they're using historical data, and based on historical data, the prediction of arrival of order at your end is possible by data which we have used previously. According to order, according to the courier company, according to the place that you lived, the prediction is almost more than 99% time the prediction that they have given is perfect. So data science applications are running there. So these are few of the examples that we need to know. What are the examples, or where you are actually using a data science based technologies? Okay, only these things are mentioned over here. Okay, so these applications we have to keep in mind. So wherever the data is available, wherever data is collected, there we can apply the operations of data science. We can apply the algorithm data science. So what are the algorithms are there? Algorithm can be from any kind of area which are given the disciplines of data science, can be taken from that. Depending upon the data, depending upon the type of the data, representation of the data, requirement of algorithm, different data analysis techniques can be applied onto it, and based on that we can perform the operation of analysis of the data onto it. So remember, now this is what the core idea about data science. How can I use the data? How can I handle, what are the ways to handle the big data? What is data science? What are the applications of it? Now let's talk about facets of the data. Facets is just like a types, different faces of the data. What are the different faces present? That is facets. So in data science and big data, you will come across many different type of the data, and each of them tend to require different tools and techniques. The main category of data are this: different tools and techniques that we require to handle depending upon the data. So what sort of data that we have, based on that the data science tools and technique can be different. Okay, tools and technique can be different. So let's talk about the data types here. With some small examples, we'll see what are the types of the data are present and how they are handled. So in common, there are 7 different type of the data are present, like structured data, unstructured data, natural language, yes, then machine generated data, then we have graph based data, then we have audio, video and images kind of data, then we have streaming data commonly, and every data is handled in different way. Maybe some data is converted from one format to another format and then it is used, like structured and unstructured. Unstructured data is converted into structured data and that is used. That is very interesting. Natural language also. Natural language data is converted into structured data and then it is used. Okay. Now, first, starting with the first. Structured data. Structured data is the data that depends on a data model and resides in a fixed field within a record. Fixed field within a record. So as such, it's often easy to store structured data in tables within a database or Excel files. SQL, that is structured query language, is the preferred way to manage and query data that reside in a databases. So you may also come across structured data that might you a hard time storing it in traditional relational databases. Okay, so let's see the example. I'll go to my home directory. See, I'll show you few of the databases. Let's say I'm having a car information with me. See, this is one of the data set that I'm having. Its name is emptycars.csv. It's a CSV file. See this. The mileage of car and many more properties of the car are given. Number of cylinder, displacement, HP, watt, weight, cubic, VM, VS, automatic, manual, number of gear, carbon level. Okay, and this is mileage of the car, like all. The data of different kind of the cars is stored in this particular file. This is what we have structured data, or let's say another kind of it, like many more I am having here. Let's see, student. This is very common. See, a data, it's having missing values here, but it's okay. We are having pre-processing technique that we can clean that data also. Roll number, name, class, marks, age, which are stored in this particular table, that is a structured data. So remember the file which is used here. See, it's very interesting to see this. Okay, the file which is used here, it is the CSV file. You can see CSV. So we can store the data into the Excel format also. Okay, so many different format like Excel, or we have XLSB, many different kind of format, type of format are chosen. Even not only that, if you are, see, I'll open my MySQL terminal. So let's say, okay, this is my MySQL terminal. If you have done the coding, so you might be knowing that. So I'm opening my MySQL. So some of the databases that I have, yeah, let's go to info. Check it. Data which is stored in the form of a table. This is also structured data. Structured data means it's a relational data, like relation that we call. Relation means it's a table. Okay, the data which is stored in this pattern is a data which is structured data presented here. So in this way the data can be present. We are actually preferring the data to be stored in databases. Why this is I'm showing here? Because maybe sometime the data that we use is stored inside the database tables. So likewise the data can be stored, or we'll have a data in the MongoDB. MongoDB unstructured data, actually it's not a structured data. We can have semi-structured also kind of data. Okay, that's also possible using MongoDB. So either in a file, CSV file, Excel file, commonly used files in structured data are that, or we can have MySQL data or Oracle SQL or your database like MS SQL, or we are having the many SQL technologies which can be used to store that data. It's in tabular format. This is what we call as structured data. See the example which is shown over here. See, the structured data which is having the table present in it. Every table is containing the name. If you consider about the core, consider data science or the many application that we do here, that applications are actually having a data in structured format. They are having a data in structured kind of format presented there. Let's see, for example, if I want to use any kind of data set, see, in programming language also, if I go to check this, so here we have, maybe check, I'll show you that. So data set already present in Python also. I'm opening a Python terminal here, and inside that, let's say for example, Seaborn is a package which is data visualization package actually, which I'm importing, and once importing is done, then from Seaborn I can import some databases, like for example dot data sets. Let's say if it is there, then it will show you data sets or data set or load to check the name of it, because lot many packages are there. No, some packages present. Wait a minute, I'll show you. Let's start with, and then we'll see how exactly data can be used in the programming also. So if you want to work practically, just we can make use of this method. I'll show how to perform operations. So there's a IDE I'm using is called a Jupyter Notebook, and with the help of Jupyter Notebook, we can write a Python program to handle the data in all the angles. So we can make use of Jupyter Notebook to perform that operations here. Okay, so it will be opened by using your web browser, something like this, and under that we can write your code to in Python to perform operations with. And for R programming, we require a R Studio. Work on that. So just a minute. Let's say this. So any kind of structured data we can directly use in the code. See, so in Python, we are having the package called a Seaborn, and under Seaborn, lot many data sets can be used. So let's check it out. Yeah, load data set. This is the way I'm using. Importing SNS package, and then different data set name also I can use here inside the code. So rather than using it there, I'll just show you here itself. Python 3, and then import C1 as SNS. Its name is load. See, SNS dot get data set names. Okay. So you can see these are the data sets already present. These almost all which are presented here, they are by default available. You can see your first practical is containing this data set, Titanic. It's already presented, that we can use there. And from this, if I want to check any other data set, for example, I want to use this IRIS. Okay, I hope that you're knowing Python. So this is how I imported the package, and then using get dataset names, I'm printing the names of all the data sets present in it. If you want to work on the data, so we just can identify that, and like X is equal to SNS, that is Seaborn dot get underscore set load data set. Yeah, load data set. Okay, and give a name of it. For example, let's say IRIS, I want to import it. So IRIS imported, and if I printed X, see, this is a data set. And this structured data set, maximum data sets which are by default available in the programming languages, they are structured. So see this one. This is what the structured data set presents. Sepal length, sepal width, petal length, but 5 columns are there, and spaces. Okay, so the row number, these are the columns. Structured data, 150 rows and 5 columns are there. So many packages are there which are containing that. Even if you talk about the sklearn, so let's see, import from sklearn, scikit-learn is there. Data sets, import the load IRIS. So this is also one of the dataset package present in scikit-learn package, which is used for scientific computing in Python, like machine learning algorithms in it. So I'm importing that load IRIS, and if you just check X is equal to load underscore IRIS, okay, X dot data. See, same data set is there. It's just structured data actually, which is in array format. It's not a data frame. See, I have imported it. Okay, then I have loaded, called that function, and then I'm printing that data. So 4 columns, and even output variable is also there. It's called a target variable. We'll talk about that in the third unit, I think. How this target variable and input variables are connected together. This is what the data, structured data present here by this particular method that we can find. So many diverse sources are there. I can import from external source in my code, or if I want to use that data directly inside, is in default abilities of loading this data is present in programming language. So not talking about Python, we'll talk about R also. We'll see that technique using R also, how to perform these operations with this. So it will be easy for us to understand and get familiar with all the data operation techniques presented. This is called as structured data. So structured data. Now the second kind of the data is unstructured data. Unstructured data, that is a data that is not easy to fit in a data model. Yeah, this is important to know. Direct, if I am saying something, I have sent a mail to a particular person. So how do I identify the context in that? So it's not possible to do. So because the content is context specific or varying. One example of this unstructured data is like your regular email. Someone has sent an email to you, and that email is containing unstructured data. It's not containing a table. Okay. Although email contains structured elements such as sender, title, and body text, it's a challenge to find the number of people who have written an email complaint about specific employee, because so many ways to exist refer to person. For example, thousands of different languages and dialects out there further complicate this. Remember. So maybe in other language their mail is written. Maybe some different kind of ways chosen to file that complaint about the person. Okay. So human written mail is the perfect example of that. Check it out. Unstructured data, which we want to analyze. So one email is given, that email is containing some information about new team of UI engineers and many things are written. Out of which you have to find the context. So how to perform operations with that. So any email will contain, and to perform operation of this kind of analytics, specialized algorithms are required. Maybe one example I'll show you, when you compose the Gmail, when you compose a mail in Gmail, so once you start typing, like for example, you type, please find, attachment will automatically come in front of it. The name, how it is possible? So algorithm, predictive analytics algorithm are present there. This is actually done with the help of the recurrent neural network algorithm, by which these predictions are possible. Recurrent neural networks are used over there. That's what the unstructured data are handled. Many ways are there. So most of the time when you actually handle unstructured data, I think in a syllabus or practical, we don't have any methods to handle the unstructured data. Maybe in upcoming sessions, upcoming subject, it's present. Part of machine learning or part of text analytics, it's present and it's possible there. That time we will talk about this particular unstructured data handling more detail. But unstructured data is present, it's available. That's we can use here in the programming also. And to handle that, we have to perform a specific operation, or like we have to convert that unstructured data into structured data, and then we have to use it further. Third is a natural language. Natural language. Okay, one example I'll show you for unstructured data also. Wait a minute. See, the data that generally I use for the association rules is present in that way. Okay, so see this. For example, let's talk about this data set. Okay, this concept is called as it's a data mining concept. So market basket analysis we call, or we call it as association rule mining. Yeah, see this. You can check it's a CSV file, hence it's a structured data. But check it out. Every column does not contain same number of elements inside it. Unstructured data. Okay, see, in first row, 1, 2, 3, 4 elements are there. I mean, these are the goods which are purchased by the particular person. Their names are given. First person has purchased 3, 4. Second person has purchased 3. Next person has purchased 1. Okay, only 1. Then after the next person has purchased 4 or maybe 5, something. 4 are there. Okay. After that, next person purchased this. Next, and completely unstructured data. See this one. And check it out. Though it's a CSV file, but if you read that CSV file, it will not come in structured format. It's not possible to use this kind of the data. This is what we call as unstructured data present here. In Python, unstructured data is not already available in Seaborn and scikit-learn, but in R, unstructured data is available, like this glossaries, or many more are there which are unstructured, completely unstructured, only text is written inside it. And to analyze that, again, we have to apply the natural language processing also. Like in the third data set that we are having, there are also natural language processing techniques, tools are applied. Special libraries are required to perform operations. Special algorithms are there that also we have to work on that. This is what we call as the unstructured data. See, the third is natural language data. Natural language is a special type of unstructured data. That's see, so remember that. It's challenging to process because it requires the knowledge of specific data science techniques and linguistics. Linguistics. Why linguistics? Natural language means I'm talking here, and somewhere written I am speaking. What is the difference between talking and speaking? Is it different? Telling. or like asking, seeing, watching, looking. Yes, many names are there. What context that they carry? So linguistic knowledge is required there. So natural language is the language which require the knowledge of data science and linguistics also. So natural language processing community has success in entity recognition, topic recognition, summarization, text completion, sentiment analysis. Sentiment analysis is very commonly used data science method which is performed on natural language. But models trained in one domain don't generalize well to other domains. Natural language, and important thing is that natural language is not only from English. So English is universal language, but language can be of any type. I'll show few of the data sets of natural language. Even state-of-art techniques aren't able to decipher the meaning of every piece of text. This shouldn't be a surprise though. Humans struggle with natural language as well. So it's ambiguous by nature. Ambiguous by nature. Many examples are there. Let's say I've told something like he is no more. What is the meaning of this statement? We know that. But how computer will know the meaning of this statement? Grammar, linguistic knowledge is required. So this is very interesting topic to handle the natural languages there. I'll show one data set for this also. Maybe here. Yeah, see this one. This is a collection of some spam messages. Check it out. Spam message. So here you can find ham. Ham means okay, it's not harmful, and spam means it's a spam message, something like this written here. So spam and ham completely. Do huge data set. Standard data set. You can find it on your GitHub also, on Kaggle also. Okay. Spam messages and ham. Now this is unstructured data, natural language data. Someone has told something. See. And we have to create a data science algorithm by which your program should be able to find the spam message and not spam message. Natural language data. This is how we call it as. And this is handled with the help of a concept called as natural language processing. So I have given the example of English. Just close this. And let's talk about some other language, like let's say it's present there. Okay, Pima Indian diabetes that we have. Just a minute. For example, having a data set something like this. Let's see whether it is. No, it's not there. A data set may also carry the information. Okay, wait a minute. I'm having a data set which contains Marathi language in this. So data or the data set also can contain the information about any kind of natural language. Yeah, this is one. This is C. I'm having a data set with me which contains Marathi text, and I want to perform operations of movies. See, these are the name of the movies. Their budget is given. Can I write a code to do analysis onto it? Yeah, exactly. It's possible. It's possible. Remember, I can do analysis of this kind of data also very easily. Or okay, same things are there. Movies underscore Marathi. So if I want to handle the data which is not actually in English language, we can do that. Natural language processing will help you to do. Even many operations that you do with the English are also possible in other languages too. That's natural language data. Next one, machine generated data. Yeah, machine generated data is information that's automatically created by a computer, process, application, or machine without human intervention. Without human intervention. Machine generated data becoming a major data sources that will continue to do so. Internet logs. No, internet logs. Like I am using internet for how much amount of time. I am not recording it, but my machine is recording it in some different format. I am doing some operation on my system, but I am not aware about it. My machine is recording that. I'll show one log of the machine that we can use. Wikibon has forecast that market value of industrial internet, that's what the term coined by the French civilian is referred to integration of complex machinery with network of sensors, will approximately reach to 450 billion in 2020. Internet of Things contain the sensors. Many, they are collecting the data, collect, and store at central locations. Machine generated data. IDC, International Data Corporation, has estimated there will be 26 times more connected things more than 2020. Its network is commonly referred as the Internet of Things, IoT. Sensors create the data, generate the data, and then they store it. And after that, using that sensor data, we have to perform some operations on it. Predictive analytics is possible, descriptive analytics is possible. That we can do on this particular data there. See this one. Machine generated data. Recognition algorithm is different completely. Machine can generate in this data, and on using that data, we want to extract something. Like I'm having a temperature values inside it. How to extract it? Let's see one log of the net. I will show you. When you are using in the Linux OS, then only you can see it. There's a log. See DMESG. See, this is the internet log or log of your system. What exactly I have done in my system, that is recorded here. I cannot delete that. See, you can check it out. Wait a minute. Some logs are given here. This is machine generated data by my system. I'll show you few of them. See, on this particular time, I have disabled the non-boot CPU. Okay. Or next. Easily readable. Yeah. See here, on this time, new USB device was found. Its vendor ID is given, product ID is given, and device number is also given. Correct? Check it. Everything is recorded. This is machine generated data. Can I use this data for some specific operation? Obviously, I would use that one also to detect the pen drives while copying this data. This information I would use in data analytics, and accordingly the operation, like copying operation, was checked by this particular method. It's possible. You cannot delete this particular data. It's a machine generated. Likewise, sensors in the IoT also generates some different sort of the data, different kind of the data, and that is recorded in your system. We can use it to perform a further operation on this particular data differently. The data can be different, diverse, different sources, type of the data are present for machine generated data. So we can use them accordingly to handle it. Okay. The next is graph or network data. Graph data can be confusing term because any data can be shown in the graph format. Yes, obviously. We can show it. Natural language data also can be shown in the graph format. Text separated and then we can show it. So graph in real case point to mathematical graph theory. In graph theory, a graph is mathematical structure to model pairwise relationship between the objects. Pairwise relationship between the object. Graph for a network, in short, data that focuses on relationship or adjacency of objects. Okay, relationship or adjacency of the object. Revise the concept or Dijkstra's algorithm for finding the shortest path. Create a network. We need to create a network, and then we have to check the location 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4. That's what traversing will be there. Or the directory structure of operating system. It's a tree. It's a tree is like a graph presented. So the graph structure uses the nodes, edges, and properties to represent and store the graphical data in it. So graph-based data is a natural way to represent social network, RDF data, social network. And its structure allows you to calculate specific metrics such as influence of a person and shortest path between the two people. Google Maps. The data recorded in that particular format, it's a graphical data. So we are having many methods to perform operation like metrics that we see, influence of a person. Okay. So like graph, social media uses that. This person is the friend of this person. This person is friend of this person. So suggest this. So we are friends. So mutual are there. How many mutual are present? 20. Give suggestions. Like so graph data which is presented there. Let's see this one. Example of graph based data can be found on many social media sites. For instance, on LinkedIn, you can see we will know which company. Okay. Your followers list on Twitter is another example of graph based data. The power and sophistication comes from multiple overlapping graphs on the same node. For example, imagine connecting edges to show friends on Facebook. Just I told about it. Imagine another graph with same people with which connect business colleague via LinkedIn. Suggestions are given. So graph center area we have the employee of company and first employee, second employee, third employee, fourth employee, fifth employee connected, and that is connected with another company's employee like that. So graphical format the data is recorded on that social media kind of sites. Okay. So imagine the third graph based on movie interest in the Netflix. It's also one of the way Netflix interest movies which are shown. That's also stored in the form of the graphical data. Overlapping these three different looking graphs make more interesting question as possible. See this one. Set of people, another set of people, and they are connected by Florine and Williams. Okay, so they are having common interest in that. So when common interests are there, so we can have access. So Jack can access Barack because this flow is there. So he's a friend of it, is friend of it, and this is what connected that we can flow. So we can have a suggestion from Barack to all of them, or Guy to this. So we can see Guy is the friend of Barack. Actually, this is simplified, but very complex graphical methodologies are followed here to show the data in the graphical format. Remember, so graph data is also very essential. And remember, graph data is a rare situation. It's not like always you are going to use a graph data. Graph data rare situation is where you want to handle that data when such kind of circumstances are present. Social media friend connectivity is the best example of the graph or the network data. Even if you think about the neural network is actually a model, data model that we can use, but the data which is represented in the neural network is a graph. Decision tree is one of the examples. Okay, we are having that in syllabus. Decision tree is also one of the example which is used to represent the data or the model in the form of the tree, in the form of the graphs. Okay, that's what the graph data is present. These are the different types of the data that we have in the system. And the last, audio, video, image. Audio, video, image are the type that pose specific challenges to the data scientist. Obviously, this is challenges. We are seeing many different algorithms that will work differently on different audio, video, and images. Audio, from audio you have to extract the text and then you have to work on that. From video you have to extract the frames, then you have to check, then you have to extract audio, then text. From image you have to extract the text, you have to extract the segment, you have to perform some operation of image processing. Tough task. Advanced data analytics task. Advanced data analytics. We are not having that in syllabus, but it's okay. We can handle the data, specific data, by different kind of algorithms. Tasks that are trivial for humans, such as recognizing object in picture, turn out to be challenging for computers, like MLBAM, Major League Baseball Advanced Media announces 2014 that they will increase video capture approximately 7 TB per game for purpose of live and game analytics. Per game, 7 TB. Live analytics. If you have seen the movie, one of the movie in that was shown here, something like that. Analytics, live analytics. You can check the behavior of that particular players and accordingly extract information and decide the action. Can be. Yeah. High-speed cameras at stadium will capture the ball and athlete movement to calculate real time. For example, the path taken by defender related to the baselines. In cricket also, you may have seen that multiple technologies of image processing are used. They are using machine learning actually, not image processing. Audio, video, and image, all three are there in many techniques which are used to find whether if any decision is given by the first or second umpire. Third umpire will check audio, video, image analytics, and based on that will have ability to change the decisions, okay, in favor of the player or against the umpire, like all. So this is the another kind of data which is present, specialized data, multimedia data we generally call, which is used by data analytics, data science algorithm to perform the analytics onto it. So recently a company called DeepMind succeeded at capturing an algorithm that's capable of learning how to play video games. Yeah, how to play video games. This algorithm takes video screen as input and learns to interpret everything via complex process of deep learning. A remarkable feat that promoted Google to buy a company of their own AI development plans. Google is working on AI development plans. You just can check some videos are there on YouTube for Google AI. How Google is working on AI, how they are handling this data to handle the operations or to perform any operation, analytic operation using AI. The learning algorithm takes data as it's produced by the computer game and it's streaming data. Accordingly, the game is created. So, algorithm is creating the game by itself. It was not created, not required to create from the scratch. Remember, streaming data. Okay, I think this is last. Okay, while streaming data can take almost any kind of previous form and it has own properties. The data flows from system when the event happens instead of being loaded into the data store in a batch. Although this isn't really a different type of data. Okay, this is common. Streaming data means data is live running on in the net. So it is here is as such because you need to adapt data process to deal with the type of information. Examples are like what's trending on Twitter, live sports, music events, stock market, streaming data, live changing data. Velocity, which is a property of your data, big data, it's just like that, streaming data, which is live, it's performing some operations onto it, and based on that, we use that data in system separately, live data and static data. This is fixed data, dynamic data, static data. That two different ways are there which the data science will follow to handle the data. So the streaming data can be a separate field of study. That's what we are using in the data analytics field. These are the common things that we need to know about the data science, data analytics operation that to do, and the big data, how exactly the big data is there. That's what we have taken the overview of it in that field, data science. In the tomorrow's session or in the next session, basically, we will see the concept of data science processes, how processes in the data science are done. Many are there, so it may be tedious to remember, but when you see the things practically, then it will be easy to understand why and what kind of data processes are required in a system. So that's from my side. If you have any questions or doubts, so